Good afternoon, Bay Nation. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Bay. I'm your host, Mike Williams, and here's my co-host, Geoffrey.
Good afternoon, Bay Nation.
In this episode, we're going over busts, and I think it's important for me to explain what I mean by busts. Not that this player won't be good at some point in the year, not that their end of the year value won't be solid, but these are players at their current ADP or average draft position. They're not going to return on value. And this first one is important to remember the ADP portion. Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is currently being drafted anywhere between 4th and 7th. There are a lot of guaranteed production that you can get between 4 and 7. It makes me nervous drafting him that high. If it was in the second round or at the end of the first round, I'd feel more comfortable, but I tend to want my first round pick to be a lock it and load it, guaranteed production all year. And at the moment, there's a chance he doesn't start week 1, and I'm not really excited about that. Because what if it's not week 1, it's week 2, or week 3, or week 4, and then it's when do we get him back? And will they ramp him up? Or will he just come out the gates firing? I have a feeling that he's not going to get a full workload his first week back, and that makes me nervous. Up next, DeAndre Swift. So I was already off on DeAndre Swift before he had the groin injury, but now he has a groin injury. They brought in Jamal Williams. This is already going to be a bad offense. With all of those issues he has, I'm definitely going to pass on him. There's plenty of wide receivers that I like in that range, and I feel like taking him is more of a downgrade. I definitely think it's going to be a split backfield, and that's not what I'm looking at when I'm trying to draft a running back in that range. This next one I've been off on all offseason. Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, as a running back, I think is a good running back. He was injured last year. He ran through it. I like him as a running back. The problem is, though he can catch, the team clearly doesn't want to get him involved in the passing game. They brought in Kenyon Drake, which makes me think that Kenyon Drake is going to be the pass-catching running back. And I think that that's going to be a valuable role. I actually think that Kenyon Drake's a little underrated because I do think that he gets some work there. With Josh Jacobs not getting the passing work, and he's going to probably be splitting carries with Kenyon Drake, I'm not a big fan. Especially at the beginning of the year. If you do want Josh Jacobs, I would actually recommend trading for him because he is going to start the year off rough. He has a terrible schedule. I normally never look at the schedule, but this one is awful. Read it out, Geoffrey.
All of these defenses are projected to be good against the run. The Ravens, Steelers, Dolphins, Chargers, Bears, Broncos, and Eagles.
That is not how you want to start off your year. Those are some incredible rushing defenses. You don't want to start your year off like that, especially if he's not going to catch the ball. I definitely think that he's going to be a bust for me this year. If you want him, trade for him later. Don't draft him. Not in the 4th round. That's crazy. Up next, Miles Sanders. I'm not a fan of Miles Sanders. I think that he's a solid running back. I think he has some big play potential, but I think that he's going to be splitting the workload. He's also been dealing with some drops recently. I think that's why the team brought in Kenneth Gainwell. There's also a new head coach, Nick Sirianni. He likes to use a running back by committee, so I don't think that Miles Sanders is going to get a majority of the work, and there's a few running backs behind him, so I'm just not seeing his upside, especially going in the 4th round. No thank you. Hard pass. There's plenty of wide receivers you can grab there that are way better. Guaranteed workload. This next one's Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, I don't think that he's over the hill yet, but I do think that his offense wants to run the ball more than they did last year. Also, I think their defense is much improved from last year, and if that's the case, they're going to be in less shootouts. And if they're in less shootouts, Dalvin Cook's getting the ball because that's what they want to do. The Vikings want to run the ball. That is the identity of their offense. He also had a bunch of touchdowns, and touchdowns are not a sticky stat. I definitely think that those decrease. I just don't like him going over people like Cooper Kupp, Julio Jones. I mean, even Chris Godwin. I just don't see it. Unless the touchdowns stay where they are, I definitely think you're going to be disappointed. This next one just had a big payday. Kenny Golladay, from the Lions to the Giants. But I think that he lacks a lot of upside. If Saquon's going to be back, getting a bunch of targets, they still have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, Devonta Booker. I just feel like there's a lot of mouths that they're going to feed. I think that Kenny Golladay is going to be that main dude. But he's more of a down the field kind of guy, and I just don't trust Daniel Jones. I don't think he's a good quarterback, and he's definitely not accurate down the field. So I'm just going to pass on Kenny Golladay. I feel like people are taking him too high. Up next, we have Joe Burrow. I'm not a big fan of Joe Burrow this year. I'm hesitant on him coming back from the injury. I do think that Jamar Chase is a good wide receiver, and he should help round out that offense, and having Joe Mixon back and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. I think that he has a talented offense around him, but where he's going, I'm just not a fan of. He's like the 12th, 13th quarterback off the board, and in that range, I'm really not taking him. I'm not trying to go into my year starting Joe Burrow, especially because I believe he has a slow start. Also, he's in a really hard division defensively. Steelers, Ravens, Browns. These are all defenses that are going to be coming at him, and I'm not excited for how he's going to react to that. Speaking of the Bengals, Jamar Chase, wide receiver. I think that he is being overdrafted at the moment. I feel like he's going to start off slow, and people are sleeping on T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is probably going to start the year off as the main guy, and maybe throughout the year, Chase Edmonds catches up, but I'm not trying to draft somebody that high and not be able to use them on a regular basis until half the year is over. Just not going to do it. I think that he's really talented, and I'm not saying that his whole year is going to be bad, but I think he's going to start off slow, and he's going too high for me to get a guy that's going to start off that slow. I'm going to make this one quick. JuJu Smith-Schuster is the odd man out. I think Deontay Johnson is going to be the man for PPR, and I think that Chase Claypool is a physical beast. I just don't see him getting the amount of touches he's going to need going where he's going. Also, Najee Harris being there is definitely going to mean they're going to try to run the ball more. That's going to take away from the passing game, and I don't think that that's going to take away from Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, especially considering JuJu Smith-Schuster tried his luck in free agency, and it did not work out. And Dallas Goedert, I'm not a big fan of. I think that if Zach Ertz was gone, I'd be a lot more on board with at least looking his way. But with Zach Ertz there, I just don't feel confident that he's going to come out as a tight end that's relevant enough to draft. So I feel like you're wasting a draft pick. Others receiving votes, I'm not drafting any running back from the Buffalo Bills. They clearly want to pass the ball. They don't want to throw it. Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, hard pass. And that's going to do it for my bust episode. Try to avoid these players at their current ADP. I'm not telling you not to draft them. I'm telling you not to draft them where ADP has them being drafted. So, good luck this draft season. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell down below so you get all of my new episodes. I'll see you soon. Hit me up if you have any questions. Peace.